Here's what nobody tells you about Claude Design. The goal is to stop starting from scratch, because the real unlock is never prompting better design. It's building a system where you never make the same assets twice. So in this video, I'm going to show you a workflow and setup for building a marketing design system once, generating assets from it, and turning that into reusable automation. Let's go. So quick context, if you're new to Claude Design, is Anthropic's visual design studio. So you give it your brand materials, it designs on brand assets, post layout, decks, landing pages. For now, it's on a separate platform where you can link inside Claude. So when you click design, you're in. At the moment, you do need a play plan for this. Now, of course, the most obvious way is to just use it, prompt it, and ask it to generate design, right? But from my experience, there is a much better way to use it. For most of us, we actually hold all the brand context, instruction details inside Claude platforms, Claude Projects, not on Claude Design. And so to actually generate useful marketing assets, I found it's much more effective to use Claude Design to make visual decisions, and Claude is where you execute. And here is what I mean. Starting from step number 1, set up a brand design system. So a brand design system is just like your marketing blanket for Claude specifically. It defines your brand colors, fonts, and visual style in one single place. So every marketing asset you create looks consistent and instantly recognizable as a brand. To build one, you need at least 3 things: your brand logo, your brand colors and fonts, and one real marketing assets as example, like your landing page or slide deck. And you can just prepare them inside one single folder. Now go to Claude Design. So it shows active projects, design system, and templates. So just go to design system and create design system first. So for this video, I'll be using my brand as an example. So just give it a descriptive name. And then here, don't worry too much. As for most marketers, we are not that technical. So what really needs here is to just drag the folder that we just set up that contains the brand materials. And then add on some other notes about your brand to make sure Claude gets it right, and then proceed. Now the whole process usually takes at least 15 minutes. So the brand design system will contain most of the core visual design elements broken down in every detailed sessions, like templates, components, branding elements, base palettes, UI elements based on the materials that you gave. So if you want to make any changes, just give it feedback or prompt Claude to do so. Now let's say I have this doodle library where I want to include in my design system for future usage, and then I can just attach it and then ask Claude to add this to my brand design system, and Claude will include them immediately. So that's why my biggest tip here is not to overcomplicate the design system creation in the first place. Always start basic and then add on top later. And once you're satisfied with it, you can just click here to publish it to make it available for team usage, and you can even set it as default for a company. Alright, step number 2, creating marketing assets template. Getting the design system is just our first step. And what comes next is actually the most exciting part. And I'll be using a social carousel post and play example, as this is a popular use case for marketers. And it's really easy to do using the method that I use. Again, our goal is not to generate final assets inside Claude Design, but a reusable template. So select the design system we just created. So in this case, already set as default. And Claude also lets you pick the project type template. And for social carousel posts, I actually suggest just starting with blank. So first, ask it to create a reusable social media carousel template with cover slide, body slide, and end slide. And we will also ask it to create at least 6 layout variations for the body slide. So there's always variety that Claude can use. So depending on the type of task, sometimes Claude will also ask you clarifying questions. So you can see it will generate a template that supports both 1:1 and 4:5 ratios, and then how it will look like using some mock-up copies. And it doesn't matter about the copy because as anyways, we will change it. And you can also click the tweaks here to adjust the look. So tweak is a list of quick adjustment ideas Claude suggests after generating your design, like layout, spacing, or style changes. So you can try variations with one click and then save as default. So the key actions for this step is to make sure you're 99% satisfied, and I found the easiest way is to tweak it by using the comments or directly add it. So I can just click the area and then ask Claude to adjust the changes that I wanted to make. So the more specific, the better. So like this prompt box, I don't like it because it feels very technical, and I wanted to make it more creative marketer vibe. So Claude will immediately change it for you, and that is pretty easy. So here is the final template with the cover slide, different body slide layouts, some for statistic, for quotes, for bullet points, for image placeholder as well. Now to make this template ready to be used by your teammates in other platforms, we can just click share, so you can export the design to other places like Canva, Claude. But for the method that I'm showing, we will just export the whole project and then pick the standalone HTML. Now our final step, create a Claude skill. Why? Because for now, your marketing templates, brand design system only live inside Claude Design. But for our day-to-day work, the team is working inside Claude with all the brand context. So these skills allow Claude to create on-brand marketing assets anywhere inside Claude. So go back to Claude Cowork or Claude Code. We're gonna upload these carousel template file we just export and then ask Claude to extract the template and then package it into a reusable carousel design skill. And then we can now just one click and save the skills. Now the magic happens as we run our marketing system. So basically, I can just load back the Team Marketing OS project, tag back the skills, and then give it some materials. So for example, in this case, I want to repurpose our last video about the latest Gemini OMA model into a social carousel post by giving it the image and transcript. So these skills will first propose the outline and then ask for my approval before proceed. And then here is the final results. So it's using the exact template that we used, and because we have different body slide layout variety already baked in, so you can always bring back to a team project for scalability. With the quote card, the Gemini screenshot image, and even the prompt card. And that is the power of setting your versatile template first, so you can always bring back to a team project for scalability. Bonus, you can even create an image export skill, so Claude will export your carousel HTML into individual images where it's ready to be published. And the best thing about this method is these assets will be saved in your system folder directly. And so I can just reuse the skills again and again to automate other social carousel post generations or link back to my other system I have already connected to further scale that. So that is just one use case, and you can use this method to make it a repeatable process that you can run anytime inside Claude. Now, if you want more workflow ideas about using Claude Design, I recommend these free guide from HubSpot, Claude Design in Action. It's free to download. So inside you get 7 ready-to-use workflows, from turning call notes to pitch deck, product wireframes from PRD document, landing pages built from competitor screenshots. Each one comes with a copy-paste prompt, refinement steps, and a clear export path. And they all follow the same 6-step framework you can apply to the next design project. My favorite part is the detailed step-by-step instructions for each use case. So it's not just giving you the initial step prompt, but also what to expect and how to iterate in the next step. You can get it for free from the link below, and thank you HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Alright, to let you see why the system is so powerful, let's move on to our next marketing asset, slide deck. The best thing to use Claude Design here is you can basically generate as many deck templates to support your marketing tasks that using the same design system. For example, every marketers, we need to plan campaigns. So we can build a marketing campaign slide deck template we can reuse every time we need to present a new campaign plan. So this time we'll pick the slide from the built-in template and then ask it to create a reusable on-brand slide deck for creating marketing campaign deck. And here is my favorite way. So instead of asking to generate the template design directly, ask it to first brainstorm a variety of layouts and ask it to propose the ideas first before generating. So it will give you some slide layout sets as well as asking some more questions. So here we can emphasize using a label placeholder and also make sure we have layout for charts and diagrams. So because that is really important for campaign planning. So it will come back with an initial draft and again, make all necessary changes so it's up to your standard. And here is the final results for our deck template. So it has 25 layouts, which can be used for different types of deck preparation scenarios. And the more the layout, the better, so Claude will have more flexibility to fulfill your deck generation needs. Now, using the same method, whenever I need to create a campaign planning deck, I can just tag the skills we create using the template exported from Claude Design. In this example, I can just give it the campaign brief and then ask it to create a 12 slide deck about the upcoming new campaign that is about Claude Design. And I can even ask it to generate new image concepts using the Nano Banana tool that matches our branding. So you can see that the results will always align with the deck template that we created with campaign objectives, target audience, core campaign ideas, and what I like is about these creative concepts. So they're generated using the Nano Banana tool and aligns with our brand visual style. So you can see that it matches our branding as well as the campaign workflow, budget breakdowns, KPI and measurements. And now you can create a few other deck templates and automate for your marketing system. So you don't need to switch back and forth and always stay inside Claude. Of course, a slide deck is just one of the marketing templates that we need. As growth marketers, we also need lead magnets for our campaigns. And I found it's also incredibly easy to create a template once and then use it forever. So this time, we'll also first ready a set of SVG icons to Claude Design. So why SVG? Because they scale perfectly at any size without blurring your image. And Claude can also recolor them to match your brand automatically. So now on Claude Design, this time we will pick the document from a template list and then drag the SVG icons folder for it to use. And then ask it to create a reusable lead magnet templates for multi-page documents. And so after a few back and forth tweakings using the edits and comments mode, here is our final lead magnets template with the use of image placeholder for the cover page, different types of layouts like the checklist, flowchart layouts, scorecard layouts, and final page with the CTAs. So it's looking perfect to be exported to create our lead magnet builder skills using the method I just showed you. Now every time we need a lead magnet, we can just run these lead magnet skills inside our Claude projects. So for example, to support that marketing campaign we just created, we need a new lead magnet. So we can just give the cover image and source materials and then ask it to design into a lead magnet. And here is the results. So it's looking pretty good using the images we provided, and because we run it inside our marketing system. So Claude already knows our tone of voice when generating these final assets. By the way, if you find this video is helpful so far, hit the like button so I know to create more videos like this. Now at this point, you're probably thinking, do we need to create skills for everything? So here's the rule that I use. So if it's a repeatable asset, something you create over and over like slide deck, build a skill so you can run it in your Claude projects or even bring it to other platforms. But if it's a one-off build, something you design once and refine, you can just generate it directly inside Claude Design, where your design system already lives and you can get all the visuals editing tools. And a lead gen landing page is a good example. So every campaign, the offer is different. The landing page might need different creative elements. So back to that campaign, perhaps we also need a lead gen landing page to support that lead magnet download. Back to Claude Design, this time we can pick UI mockups from the list. And let's also try the latest Opus model, which will use more visual reasoning efforts. So I have test done it for this, and Opus is consistently better for the design project like this. Then we can attach materials like the lead magnet cover image and the actual lead magnet we just created. I'm also giving it my existing lead gen page as layout reference, so it keeps the structure, just redesigned it, and then ask it to design a lead gen landing page with a lead form. So the design is really nice and it captured the branding perfectly. So it's also using my existing lead gen page layout with the video walkthrough placeholder, but in a completely different style, and Claude has made further improvement. And I actually like how Claude also adding more sections to encourage conversions, and you can always make edits directly using the edit mode. And now we can also test the landing page experience by filling the form. And you can see this is also nicely done. And from a lead gen perspective, you always wanted to keep the fields as minimal as possible. Now, once you're happy with this design, we can hand it off to Claude Code, which is more efficient to make coding changes. A quick tip is you can also just export it as a standalone HTML file, so you could host it anywhere. But because the form doesn't actually do anything now, so Claude Code is where we can link it up to our email platform and push it live. And so that is how you actually use Claude Design as a marketer that make it scale, from campaign planning to marketing assets to full funnel building. Okay, here's the bonus use case, motion graphics. I know most of us don't need making animations every week, but there are moments like when you need to pitch a concept to your team or make an internal share actually get attentions, and it turns out Claude can also handle this well. To generate animations, this time we'll pick animations from the template and then give it some context about the projects you're working on. So for example, I can paste my raw notes about the framework I just talked in this video. And here is the key. So I'm not asking for an animation yet. I'm asking it to analyze it and then pitch me 3 storytelling directions first. Because for any storytelling motion, the most important thing is actually the concept. So it should be clicking for your audience. And my prompt has the 5 same components every time. First, the big picture. Just one line on what this project is about and why we need a storytelling scene. And then the information itself. Just keep it short. And then the most important part. Tell Claude what job this scene is actually doing. So is it explaining something, showing statistic, comparing, simplifying, or just listing bullet points? So once Claude knows the jobs, it knows what kind of visuals to go for. And then ask for 3 directions concepts and finally the animation specifications. And now we still use Opus for complex output like this, so it will pitch me some core ideas, and this is when you want to fine-tune or make any adjustment. And always try to get 90% right before generation, because again, concept first and then execution. So the first draft is pretty strong already, it's following the concepts, and you can use the comment modes to make changes just like other Claude Design project. And we can also click the tweak panel and turn on the motion editor. So this editor will allows you to adjust the duration for each particular scene segment. Although it's still pretty basic now, I'm sure it will keep improving. And once you're done, you can just directly share in video format that you can bring to your actual project. And you can also use this for other simple animations as well, like for your product explainers, data storytelling, statistic reveals, or simple hero animations for your campaigns. So to recap the method, set up Claude Design system first, and then create marketing assets template, and finally package them into reusable skills to be used everywhere in Claude. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up so more people can see this. I also invite you to join our growth community where we go deep in building a scalable marketing system. And before you go, also check out my whole video playlist about Claude for marketing. I will see you next time.